Good morning, Newport. As 2018 comes to an end, so does the lineup of our current city council that we've come to know and love on this show. At the last council meeting of the year, we said goodbye to one of Voldemort's picks on Team Newport, Councilman Scott Piotr, and ushered in a community champion candidate, Joy Brenner. The overall vibe of the night was very festive, with holiday cheer being passed around like it was Christmas morning. And by holiday cheer, I mean presents.
Just wanted to come and give Councilman Piotr a small token of our appreciation for the service you have done to the city.
To the Honorable Scott Piotr.
This is a really nice gift. I actually won it. It's a beautiful clock and very deserving. It is really something.
And people complain about kids getting participation trophies.
And when we got elected, we were clearly given a new direction by the voters, and sometimes change can be hard. And I've enjoyed helping constituents in their various issues. Some of the accomplishments I'm really proud of: putting wood back into the fire pits. I gladly pass the baton on to Joy Brenner. I think she'll do a great job. Good luck and Godspeed, Joy.
Now that is how you bow out gracefully. As Scott said, he stuck to his ideals, and now the citizens have decided to go in a different direction.
I would just like to say how grateful and appreciative I am to everyone who participated in this election. Two of my main campaign promises were, one, that I would listen to the people, that I would try to vote the will of the people in everything that I do on the council, and the second was that I will work with any and all members of this council and members of this community to do what's right for the citizens of Newport Beach.
As you saw in our series premiere, Joy stressed the importance of having the council listen to the citizens of Newport Beach instead of following an agenda from the people who got them elected. Now, after lots of hard work from local citizens, Joy Brenner has officially become a city councilwoman. We're excited to see what she and Jeff Herdman, the only two candidates not elected by Voldemort, aka Dave Ellis, will do. 5 of the city council members were campaign managed by Voldemort, though they've all claimed that Team Newport has gone the way of the dodo. Will our city council become the council Newport Beach deserves? Stay tuned in season 2 of Good Morning Newport. After presents were given out, our new city council members were sworn in using Councilman Muldoon's Bible to take their oaths.
Repeat after me, if you would, please. I, Diane Dixon,
do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California, and that I take this obligation freely.
Congratulations, Mr. Muldoon.
Aw, Kevin Muldoon kissing his baby on the stand. It doesn't get better than that. Now for some really positive news about the election. Voter turnout is at an all-time high in Newport Beach.
And I'm proud to report that Newport Beach voter turnout was over 77%. Yes, good job.
And then there's some precincts that had low turnout. And there's one that's notable, which is precinct 53393. It has 1,000 voters in that precinct. Less than half of them bother to vote. That precinct happens to be what used to be called Oakwood and then Coronado. And I think the fault is probably not with the people who live there, but probably with us. And we should reflect on why those people are not engaged in our local politics.
Anyone who's ever visited the apartments formerly known as Coronado can probably guess why they had such a low voter turnout. It's said that they hold the record for the city's highest murder rate per capita in their parking lot. Oh. Not to bury the lead, but there was another major change in the council lineup. We got a new mayor.
I just want to say it was a great pleasure and a great honor serving you as mayor in 2018. I had to learn on the fly, and by the end of my term as mayor, I figured it out, just in time for the last meeting. And I'm starting to really like the sound of Duffy Duffield, former mayor.
Let's hope our next mayor can figure it out just a little faster. Our city council voted unanimously to give the honor of mayor to Diane Dixon. This came as a surprise when Mayor Pro Tem Will O'Neill stepped down from his own expected nomination and instead passed it to Diane.
You know, I've
I've given this one a lot of thought, and we do have an opportunity tonight for reconciliation. And we do have the opportunity to move forward in a unified way with a renewed sense of optimism. And so I have to say, understanding the full symbolism of a mayor pro tem offering the nomination of someone other than himself to be the mayor, I nominate Diane Dixon to be mayor of Newport Beach in 2019.
Congratulations, Councilmember Dixon. You are the new mayor for 2018-19.
The olive branch offered up by Will may have stemmed from a letter sent to council signed by both community activists and leaders highlighting why O'Neill shouldn't take the role of mayor. We reached out to Will for a comment, and this is what he said. We're still waiting to hear back from Councilman Will O'Neill. Joining us tonight is a nearly 50-year Newport resident and your local city councilman from District 2, Brad Avery. Take it away, Riley.
Thank you, Alex. With Councilman Brad Avery joining us this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Riley.
So what's it like to be a councilman for the city of Newport Beach?
It's a gas. It's like the coolest thing. You know, what makes it really fun is just dealing with one-on-one with residents trying to solve some problem. Early on, there was a guy that ran a motel on the highway, you know, down there next to Cappy's Cafe, and a drunk driver took his sign out. And this was the start of summer, and he relied on a big, you know, neon sign. He went to the city and he said, I need a new sign. He said, well, we're in the middle of redoing our sign ordinance, and you know, you had a 2-pole sign and we want to go to 1-pole sign, so we'll have this figured out in another couple months. But he was depending on, you know, business for summer. So I made a couple calls and said, we need to help this guy. And they did. You know, staff was great. But that was like, to me, it was just like such a huge win. So that's the fun part about it.
Oh, that's so cool. So in a sense, you have power to help your local community.
Absolutely. The one-on-one stuff. And the rest of it's kind of hard work. But that's kind of fun.
What's the hard work part?
Dealing with things that are difficult problems. You know, like in my district, the traffic situation, we have 3 schools. They're very close together, Newport Heights. You know, we had a tragedy with a 6-year-old boy was killed by a trash truck. And so we had to come to grips with this problem that we have where we've got kids in cars in close proximity, and it made us focus on it. But it was hard because the community had a difficult time. You know, you had the parents on one side, you had people that didn't want to give up, you know, maybe they're parking for a bike lane. They didn't want to, you know, slow any streets down. So there was, that's difficult, and that still isn't resolved, you know. And so you sort of, from my perspective, you try to have the community, lead the community to a decision. And they're in totally different places.
So how do you make that fair?
How do you make that fair? And so that's the hard part, you know, it's trying to lead that and get to a satisfying result. And the reality is you, a lot of times, don't get that satisfying result. You get kind of a grumbling result.
But as you said, you have to lead them to the solution.
Well, yeah, hopefully it emanates, you know, you just have enough conversation and people, you know, we find it together. So, and that's what I'm trying to do, you know, with all the decisions that I make.
I love that.
You know, one of the early things I learned being on council was, initially the first couple of meetings, I would look at the agenda and I kind of had my mind made up. And then what was happening was as meetings went on and I would hear public testimony, and I would hear my other council members, and I would my vote would flip based on that. And that's really valuable. It's really valuable to have a packed council chambers. So I don't make up my mind on a decision until it's right there. I have an idea, but I'm totally open to being changed on a particular issue.
Well, I love hearing that you value hearing what the public community has to say in regards to this issue, because I would say that's been rare on the council.
Yeah, maybe. We shouldn't be threatened by it. We should welcome it. I think it helps us arrive at the right decision. I think if you can get to a point where you're not threatened by it, you know, and you just listen.
At our last meeting, it seemed that there was quite a few statements made about the change happening. Scott Piotr, as he was exiting, mentioned a change in the public and what they wanted, and that reflected in him not winning his seat. And even Councilman Will O'Neill stepped down from being mayor after public outcry and nominated Diane Dixon. Do you think these are signs that the future city council is going in this direction of listening to the public?
Probably, yeah, because it's been a rough road, for all of us. One council member can do something that creates hardship for all of us because it's not one member. The council's a body. And if one member of the body is, making a wrong decision, and somehow, creating an issue, it impacts all of us. We all feel it. When we're up there and we're looking out and the council chambers are full with people with pitchforks and, holding, torches.
Is that scary?
Well, it gets your attention, and it should. It's your community, and they're coming up and they're saying, we don't like something here. And you can't write it off and go, well, it's just one group. That's not the case. And even if it is one group, 100 people matter. And I think on some level, everybody on council gets that. And I think what we've got now are people who, I think, we just want to get the business of the city done. And I feel every member of council wants to get the business of the city done.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to come out here and join us
absolutely.
and speak with us this morning.
You bet.
It's been great having you and clarifying things, and what you think of city council is really helpful.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course, anytime.
All right.
Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Brad. We're stoked to have you on council for at least the next 2 years. Well, that's about it for this season of Good Morning Newport. We hope you all learned a little something about how our city government operates and ideally got motivated to get more involved at the local level, even if that just meant making a more informed choice this election season. We're inundated daily with news about our federal and even our state government, and let's be honest, it can feel really hard to make a difference, not to mention navigate the divisive waters of partisanship. At the local level, though, we see just how easy it is to affect change and how one's vote really does matter. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, we all love Newport Beach, and we all have a voice in shaping its future. Thanks for watching. And no, there's no tip line ringing this morning. For the last time this year, for our live studio audience, for our crew, for my director, Riley Hayes, this is Alex Crawford saying, from the Back Bay to the Wedge, from Newport Coast to the River Jetties, good morning, Newport.